What's up guys, this is Chills again, and as you can see, we are in the same place we've been for the last two videos. If you can't tell, I'm recording these kind of back to back to back. So this is the third episode of the Snub Basics series that I wanted to get out to the community, and this one is going to cover strafing. In my first episode, we went through basic control scheme, and then in the second episode we went through what engine kill and reverse thrust are on a really high level, as well as basic use of those, movements. And on this episode I want to cover strafing, what strafing is, why it's important, and how it works. So if we go back to my controls really quick, we notice here that my strafe keys are my W, A, S, and D keys right here. And what they allow me to do is they allow me to move my ship in certain directions. You can see I'm pressing D, strafing to the right, pressing A, strafing to the left, pressing W, strafing up, and pressing S, strafing down. So what these allow me to do is they allow me to turn wider or sharper depending on what the situation calls for. They allow me to dodge incoming fire. They also allow me to position myself around opponents and make me an overall harder target to shoot. Now, in the most recent patch, what's known as strafe force has been reduced, so it's not nearly as obnoxious as it was in prior versions of Discovery. And for that reason, I will not be covering boxing or why boxing is important, because it is simply much less effective than it used to be, and I don't think it warrants a tutorial coverage at this point in time. So, but what strafing does allow me to do is it allows me to take wider angles when I'm turning. So if I'm just going to turn regularly, I'm flying in a straight line right now, and I just turn here to the right, that's perfectly fine. But what you can do is you can turn at a wider angle if I'm strafing to my left. So now I'm pressing the A key. You can see the contrails of my ship are going to the right bottom corner of my screen. That indicates that I'm strafing left. I'm pressing my afterburn key. I'm now strafing to the left while thrusting, and when I turn, my angle is much sharper. If you notice too, if you look at the speed I'm turning at a lower speed than I was, when I was not pressing the strafe key. If I let go, you'll see it increase like this. So by strafing out and turning in, right, I'm strafing to the left and turning to the right, so I'm strafing the opposite of my turn. I'm able to turn sharper at a sharper angle. So this is important when you're getting behind people, if you're in a duel scenario, or let's say I'm running away in a group fight, I'm being chased and everyone's shooting at me. I can turn quickly here, reverse thrust to sharpen my turn, and now I'm going, in a different direction and throwing them off my tail. So you can strafe in all sorts of directions. It's not just this way. This is strafing left and turning right. You can also turn left and strafe right, like this. You can also turn downward and strafe upward. So I'm pressing W, my mouse key is down, and now I'm turning up and strafing down with S key. So these allow you to sharpen your turns, widen your angles. It also pushes the crosshair out. So let's pretend that, Blue Station here again is a ship. If I was smart, I'd have someone here to be a test dummy for me, but alas, here we are. If Blue Station decided to start strafing in one direction or the other, their crosshair would start to move as well. So it makes it a little bit harder for someone to lock on target to you when you are strafing. In fleet fights specifically, meaning you're in a mixed fleet with capital ships and gunboats and cruisers and fighters and bombers and things of that nature, what I always recommend is that when you're flying in the fleet fight, you should always have your finger on a strafe key. Doesn't matter which one necessarily, but it's always important to be strafing. It makes you just that little bit harder to hit, and that could save your life when you're in the middle of combat. For me, I find it most comfortable with the WASD control scheme is to have my finger on the A key. So my finger is almost always on the A key when I'm flying. Like right now, my finger's on the A key. Occasionally I'll change it up, but usually I have it there. It pushes my crosshair slightly further away from me, makes me a little bit harder to hit, and it helps me fly around my opponents, because typically I'm turning to the right when I'm in duels. If you look at any of my videos on YouTube, you'll see that a lot of them feature me turning to the right like this as I am, you know, fighting opponents. So that's strafing in a nutshell. Really high level, not super in-depth, but just a basic strafing and turning tutorial. I hope this is helpful. Hope this maybe you know, fill some color in on why strafing is so important and why you hear it talked about so much. But other than that, that's about it for this one. Thanks, guys.